We gonna play the game, the PlayStation all day, with the Metal Gear Solid to Tekken 3, and from Omega Boost to Resident Evil. Just play for the fun, cause we got it going on.
Alright everybody, we're going to move into the next sort of phase for my demonstrations here, and this one's going to be all of the terminal missions. So obviously there are only a set number of terminals, and therefore you can only have so many missions involved with them. In this particular case, I've got the mission for the Hood. One thing that is very important to note with the terminal missions is that they are also part of the story. So it is very important to realize that you make certain you're going to whichever one is appropriate. Eventually you'll get to the point where you realize pretty much immediately which is which, so it won't be as much of a problem, but in this case we need to defeat the Hood, the dockyard enemies, and the wooden crates. So the wooden crates are these big stacks right here, and even just at the beginning here we can have almost all of them. So there you go, just with that I've gotten all the crates, and the dockyard enemies are these guys that look like the gangsters from Midtown Manhattan. So if you're going after the Hood guys, those won't count towards the kill count for the purpose of the quest, but it's never really bad to take out bad guys, right? So this one I'll actually go ahead and run through the whole thing since it is relatively quick. And you can see we've got more wooden crates, and the story mission here is different because in the story mission you actually end up destroying these engine parts, which you'll see later on. And it is important to note that Loki here, although I haven't gotten a story mission yet, or I haven't started talking about the story missions, he is level 29 right now, just leveled up not too long ago. But since he's level 29, I'm getting the relatively low level heroic difficulty missions. One thing to note with many of the terminal missions and several of the story missions is when you have a set number of bad guys to kill, like for example in this case 75 dockyard enemies, a lot of times you can go to the secondary areas in the terminals, which would be this right here, and you can find a lot of the enemies there. So you don't need to take out all of the enemies and then head for the bad guy. For example, I've got 66 right now. Let's see if I can teleport across this. Nope. So there should be enough guys over here to let me complete the mission for that particular part. So there, see, I just completed the dockyard enemies, and I'm fighting the Hood. So it's kind of nice, and eventually you can get to the point where you're better with that to make it easier on yourself. So take out Hood relatively quickly. Unfortunately, I don't have my ultimate, or else I would use it just for the sake of time. But we can take him out pretty quick. We got some good stuff. Just gotta spawn my guys here. Hiya, hiya. Almost got him. So just like with any terminal, this one is fairly simple, and this is actually one of the ones that that allows you to go forward and not go forward, but this one is one where the map doesn't change. There are a couple terminals where the map changes. This is not one of them. The map is always the same. The path that I took is one that you can always take for this, so it should be a really big help for you later on. But that's it for the Hood terminal mission. Very simple, very straightforward, just like many of the terminal missions. And so with that, we'll move on to the next. The next terminal that I'll be running for you guys is the Subway Smash Up, which is the first on the list of the terminal missions, and is where we get to go and defeat Shocker. This particular one, like many other terminals, is one Odin mark, and that's pretty much it. Basically, we have to defeat some gang members, Shocker, and destroy control consoles. I don't know why we have to destroy control consoles. It's actually really simple. It's not a big deal, but again, it's great because I get to play as I'm playing as Scarlet Witch, so I can teleport after I've gotten most of the stuff done. Grab some XP while I'm at it. Go away. So I'm already halfway through the defeats that are required, so certainly not bad, and almost done. Incidentally, the easiest way to do this is just in this first part. You can pretty much guaranteed to have more than enough bad guys to complete that part of the mission, so like, I just finished it. And then for the control consoles, there are actually consoles in the room that Shocker's in, so you don't even have to worry about that. So like I said, I'm just going to skip past most of this here. And like several other terminals, this is one that's randomly generated to a decent extent, so it can be tough to get through relatively quickly, unless again you've got teleport power, which are thankfully I died, which are thankfully fairly common, so you probably won't have to worry too much. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just noticed that there's a dupe marker on my map, which means we have to go back and take out Cosmic Dupe. It's the law. I love that there's a marker for him too. Makes it so helpful. Oh, I can't teleport to him. Oh, grr. We have to go all the way around. Incidentally, if you recall, this is one of the main rules that I have for leveling in general. If you run into a dupe, then take him out. Certainly now, if you run into Cosmic Dupe, for crying out loud, they say where he is, go and take him out. He's Cosmic Dupe. Yes, Cosmic Dupe. I find it interesting they don't have a little portrait for him, but it doesn't matter because he vomits hammers. Yes. I wish the April Fool's thing had been true and we actually got to play as him. Can't believe I almost missed him too. Oh, I would have been so sad. Miss out on a Cosmic Dupe. That would have been a shame. Incidentally, I destroyed control consoles as I was going. So essentially the control consoles for the purpose of the mission are these things that line the wall. They look like, if you've ever watched old movies about like reactors and things like that, anything that required large amounts of electricity changes, things like that. Even in the first Captain America movie, when they were actually making him Captain America, they had consoles that looked similar. Basically just large electrical looking consoles. You'll see when I'm back in Shocker's room how many there are in there. I'm so sad that I keep dying. Yay! Cosmic Dupe! Huzzah! Very exciting. Give me my shinies. Give me my shinies. Awesome. I'll take the ring too, because why not? Okay. Back to the important stuff. So we'll go take out Shocker. He can be pretty frustrating. The worst attack that... Oop, Splinter. Sorry again. The worst attack that that Shocker uses is where he essentially takes part of the ceiling down on top of you. That's where you see little red circles in several locations around the map, or not the map, but the screen rather. There, he just did it. Really? And he's got the gas. When he does that, that's his most damaging attack, so you definitely want to get out of the way for it.
I am truly hurt.
And also try to take out all the other little bad guys. Incidentally, these guys do obviously count towards the total of the bad guys. So if you either didn't get them on your way over or you just didn't bother at all for whatever reason, it's more than likely that you'll be able to get a good portion just in this room. So no worries. Incidentally, the control consoles line the entirety of this room. You literally need a single corner of the room and you'll complete the mission for the control consoles. And there we go. Just like with all the terminals, just grab your cube shard and then grab your Odin marks and all your other happy stuff, and you will be good to go and very, very happy. So with that, we'll move on to the next terminal. The next terminal that I'll be running through is Tear the Warehouse Down, where we have to go and defeat Dr. Octopus, take out a bunch of Magia, and destroy the Kingpin's property. On the list of the terminals, this one is actually the second one here, the Kingpin's Warehouse, and I'll be doing this with Deadpool, which is a very fun and exciting character for me, and we'll go ahead and just jump straight into it. This particular one is a 1 Odin mark, and it's mostly because the map is pretty small. It's not really difficult, although it is one that is randomized. The exact nature of this particular one is never really the same. But essentially, it's a very easy mission. As far as the destroy the Kingpin's property, it means literally everything inside the warehouse. All of the destructible objects inside of the warehouse count as the Kingpin's property. So just toss down AoEs, just go and melee or range attack everything in sight. Easy peasy, done and done. See, look at that. Boom! Oh, yay, done. I actually just finished with it. We had to destroy 50 of the Kingpin's property here. So, we're done with it now. And this is a terminal where it's an example of having to approach the exact same way. And what we need to do is we always have to approach Dr. Octopus from what is his lower right or the southwest corner of his marker. So right now you can see it's northwest a little. I'm sorry, I meant southeast is where we need to go from. So what we need to do is sort of try to stay a little bit below here if we can. And actually this should be pretty easy. Ooh, dupe. Come here, dupe. I'll take you down. Hiya! But this is a very, very simple terminal, really straightforward like many of them. Again, it can be a little frustrating because the map isn't always the same, but that in the end really is not a huge deal, at least in my opinion. I've got all the Magia, so I'll just go ahead and skip right past this. And this is the scene that you'll always see right before Dr. Octopus. You'll see the two guys in the middle with these little ropes here, and the little lounging areas on either side, and then the statue of the Kingpin. Ha! Take that. All right. So now we'll just go ahead and take him out. Shouldn't take too long. But that's really pretty much it for the terminal. There's nothing really specific about it that's really unique or difficult. It's actually fairly simple, and like you saw, you can get all of the things that you need pretty quickly. So you shouldn't have a problem. And there we go. Done and done. Let's see what we... Ooh, yay, heroic mode. Huzzah! Alright. So just go ahead and gather up all of these. Get my cube shard. And... got a cosmic. Alright. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next terminal. Alright, so we're back again with Loki here for another terminal mission, and this one being Schools Out, the Taskmaster terminal. So again, like all of the terminal missions, it's worth 1 Odin mark, and again, just make certain that you are on the actual terminal mission and not the story one. So this will be the Taskmaster Institute. Now, this is one of the relatively few of the terminals that actually ends up being randomized. Okay, so the structure is not always the same. Okay, but we can see... Ah, go away. Just like many of them, though, This is one where you essentially have to defeat enemies and then some arbitrary item within the map in order to succeed. So you can see I put the map full screen here. So I'm down here and Taskmaster is up here. So essentially the way that I do this is just going in the approximate direction that I need to. Right? And we just got to take out bad guys, just enemies. It doesn't say a specific type. Ooh, dupe. Right? Remember, you always have to take out dupe regardless. And the other thing is practice equipment. Most often the practice equipment is going to be things like the wooden targets and stuff like that. You'll be able to see them pretty well. So you can see there's one right there that I just took out. And I actually took out all of the stuff I needed. Aw, dupe, really? You're killing me here. So I'll show you some more practice equipment as we go. Once I take out all the bad guys. So you can see up here in the upper left corner here, those two targets, those are examples of the practice equipment that you would have to take out. Same thing for these guys at the bottom of the screen here. Those alone would have been more than enough to complete the mission. Alright, but since I already did, it wasn't really necessary. So we'll just go on, and again, just like with any terminal, just got to take out the bad guys as we go. Like a decent number of them, you'll have bad guys at the beginning and the end, so you can move at a fairly brisk pace. You don't have to worry a lot about the elites if you really don't want to fight them. You can just take out the regular guys for the sake of moving quicker and being able to complete the objective a little faster. But if you want to take out the elites, feel free to. They obviously give you more experience, more pretty much everything. So don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, at least not as much. So you can see on my little map here, almost a Taskmaster and just need a couple more bad guys, and we got him. So Taskmaster is one that doesn't actually have guys physically with him, but we can still take him out pretty quick. There are a couple of nasty attacks that Taskmaster uses. He's got the charge and his shield throw, both of which do a decent amount of damage. Like that. But as long as you stay on your toes, you should be okay. You can take him out, woo, relatively quickly at least. Ooh, that was close. Got him. Alright, so again, that's it for Taskmaster. Like all the terminals, you get your one Odin mark, you get your cube shard, and then you move on to the next one. So with that, I will move on to the next terminal mission. Hey everybody, we're back for our next terminal mission with Iron Man in this case, and this one being the mission Full Steam Ahead, which takes place in the newest terminal, the Juggernaut terminal, or at least what is currently the newest one, and it's the Church of Purification right here. So there was recently a change to this where now we have to destroy ammo crates, and the ammo crates can be a little bit finicky as far as being able to find them, but essentially what you're looking for are the boxes like this. Okay, they've got the 3 stripes on top, and they've got the exploding marks on them. I don't know if that one's one. That one was one too. In addition, we have to defeat 100 purifiers, which is, you know, I mean, defeat 100 purifiers. There's plenty on the way, so we shouldn't have a problem with it. The ammo crates can be really difficult to find, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time I post this, between recording it now and getting it online, that they changed either the number or the distribution or anything like that regarding the crates themselves. In part because, like all of the terminal missions, this is one Odin mark, which is obviously not that great, shouldn't represent a great deal of time. I mean, taking out the purifiers is easy enough. They go down pretty simple, pretty easily. So hopefully we can find a stash. There's supposed to be various stashes of these the ammo crates around. I don't know if we'll be able to find one. Hopefully we can. But either way, this is one where you really got to scour the map a good bit. Typically when you see a group like this, it means that they're protecting at least one, sometimes two of the crates, so that at least can help. Ooh, dupe. But, I mean, I'm only halfway through it, through the ammo crates, and I still have a decent number of purifiers to go through. So I guess the best advice is to look for these larger groups, because like that group that was up at the top of the screen was protecting 3 just right there. So that can certainly be helpful. Oh, I never took out dupe. Jeez. I always forget that stuff. And I also don't have my shield on. Man, I Iron Man fail. There we go. Take that, dupe. Adamantium alloy. Thank you very much. So, let's see. Why do I keep getting experience? I don't need experience. Let's see if we can find a good stash. This is rough. Maybe some in here. Oh. Yay! None. Yeah, so like I said, this is one where you really kind of got to scour the map trying to find these things. It can be very, very frustrating. This is currently this is the only terminal mission that I'll skip on principle of it doesn't really make sense, and I don't find that it's really worth my time for the reward that you get out of it, because you really do have to scour quite a bit. There we go. Here we go. Here's a nice little stash. So hopefully you'll get lucky, find a couple of these stashes, and you won't have to worry too much. There we go. Got them all now. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it wasn't that great. The Juggernaut terminal is one of the ones that is randomized, at least to a certain extent. The thing is that you essentially go northeast. That's pretty much it. As long as you go northeast, you'll get to Juggernaut soon enough, and you'll be able to take him out and finish the quest. Not too difficult. It used to be that we had to take out these jeeps up here, but sometimes they wouldn't count, and it was just all sorts of messy. Okay? So we'll take out the Juggernaut here, at least pretty quickly, after he's no longer invulnerable. Start a Jericho just to be safe. There we go. Get him, Falcon! Also the one-off. Where'd Falcon go? There he is.
Sorry to ruffle your feathers.
Alright. Juggernaut's not really one of the tougher bosses. He goes down pretty easily, like I said. So not too bad. Get your cube shard, get your Odin marks, get your credits. This one does give you a decent amount of credits, so it's not too bad. But that's pretty much it. So there's the terminal mission for you. And with that, I'll move on to the next one. For the next terminal mission, I will be doing Magnetic Appeal, which naturally means that we will be going after Magneto in the Striker bunker. This particular one is actually worth 2 Odin marks, which is pretty nice. It is relatively long, obviously, which is why it's worth 2, but it's still fairly simple. So we'll go here, and I'm going to be doing the green terminal once again, just because it makes it easier in general. And we'll just hop in here. So for this, we need to defeat purifiers, and we also need to find ammo crates. Something really awesome that I found out, and that I'm sure many other people have found, is that inside of this very first room, there are 8 ammo crates. These right here, these gray boxes that have the sort of double eagle looking thing, those are the ammo crates. So we just go in here, and we'll take them out. Look, there's 5 right there. Get some bombs, and there we go, 8 done. Easy peasy. Look, before we even take out any purifiers, we're already done with all of the ammo crates. So for the purifiers, we need 75, and this is one of the terminal missions where we actually get a fairly decent clip, and we can sort of take them out as we go. I actually spent way too much time on those guys. You really don't even need to worry about elites too much. if you just focus on the regular trash type guys, you should be more than good, and won't have any problems with having enough guys to take out. Or you can just take guys out because they annoy you with flamethrowers. And that's just me. Incidentally, I love these rolling bombs. Black Widow's awesome. There are a lot of awesome characters. Alright, so like mini terminals, really simple, fairly straightforward. Unfortunately, this is not one of the particular terminals that is always set as far as the total structure of the terminal. So you have to deal with that as it comes. But that being said, it's really not that terrible. You always start in the south and work your way north, as it is with many terminals. Actually, pretty much all of them. And you've always got Magneto's little head pointing out where you need to go. There are some places where it splits off, and I'll show you the little trick that I do to basically figure out which way to go. Assuming that we get to a split, which we probably will. So here we're basically at a split. We can either go this direction up to the upper right or the upper left, and essentially just keep following Magneto's face as best as we can. And in doing so, we'll be much better off. Alright, now we have a problem. So it looks like he's straight ahead, and I'll just go back to the regular map there so you can see it a little easier. It looks like he's straight ahead of us, so it might be tough to figure out which way to go. Very simply, if you run into this, the easiest thing to do is go to the full screen map, and you can see just barely all the way up here, we see him, and we're down here. So if we draw a straight line, then essentially we need to go to the upper right, because that way we'll be on a straight line towards Magneto. And you can see here we've got a line for Pyro, which is very nice. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get enough bad guys. I still need, how many? 8? Need 8. So, I gotta go the other direction. Should be enough guys fairly close by though, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. Be able to take them out pretty quick. Nope, fail. Close, but still fail. Gotta go back here. Just need 2 more. Ha! Look at that. Boom! And done. So now we can go take out Magneto. I personally always skip Pyro. If they bring back some of the awesome additional loot stuff like they had back for the Australia Day thing, that would be awesome. But if I'm just strictly leveling, I don't bother taking out intermediate bosses, regardless of what the regardless of what the particular terminal is. I will not stand aside. You stand aside. Ugh, my bombs are worthless. To be fair, Falcon's doing even worse. So this is one of the reasons why I always stick to the green terminals. I'm not necessarily underleveled. You always get legendary quests that are appropriate for you. Particularly with the terminals, now that they redid the system. You don't have semi-random splits with the terminal levels across the board. Instead, it's just you get to go to the terminals in brackets, similar to X-Defense and Midtown Manhattan. Oh, come on. So close and yet so far. No, no, no! Oh, boo! The nice thing is that we get to teleport really close, though. Oh, that was so lame. Alright, come on, Falcon. Let's do it right this time. Really? Teleporting behind me? Not cool, man. Still a relatively quick terminal. Again, getting the 2 Odin marks is certainly nice. Slightly better compared to most. And obviously we get our cube shard. So very, very nice. And that's it for Magnetic Appeal. I'll go ahead and move on to the next one.
How's Jessica?
The next terminal that I'm going to be doing is the Lab Crash mission, which is the Mr. Sinister one. And for this particular mission, I'm going to be taking our good friend Thor. This is, again, it's just a typical terminal mission, 1 Odin mark, but very, very quick, and a good general same sort of geography of the area. It's really easy. Oh, look, we got a friend too. That's nice. We have to take out Mr. Sinister. We have to take out mutates and tech barrels. So the tech barrels are these fancy, colorful barrels that you'll see scattered around the place a little bit. Oh, is he just skipping to Mr. Sinister? I hope not. The mutates are the little spiky-looking guys that you'll see around at the various locations. And once you take out... Oh, dupe. Taking out a total of 50 of the mutates and just 5 of the barrels is all it takes. So very simple, not very much, and then obviously taking down Mr. Sinister himself. And we'll be good to go. Let's go ahead and skip through this. He's skipping to Mr. Sinister. No! Wait, I'm doing the legendary... Incidentally, I guess this is a good time to talk about this, where sometimes you can run into this where people will join up with you, and you've got a couple of options, especially if you're trying to do what I'm doing and actually go through the quest involved. You can either just not bother with the quest and go and take out the bad guy and then not worry about it anymore, or you can say nuts to that guy, leave and come back into a different instance. You can also block the party joining in the menu as well, and that might be the best way if you're really having a lot of issues. I'll go ahead and hop over to him. Hopefully he hasn't taken out Sinister yet. Perfect. So got pretty lucky in that I was able to take out all the bad guys with enough time left to come back over and finish up the quest. So you get your cube shard, you get your experience, you get your credits. Happy, happy? Nothing to complain about there. So with that, I'll go ahead and move on to the next one. For the next terminal, we're going to be running Pull the Plug, which is the one for MODOK. This particular one is worth 3 Odin marks, and we have to take out MODOK himself, engineers, and turrets. Like always, I'm going to be running this on the green terminal, and in this particular case, using Scarlet Witch. So this is one of the terminals that I personally tend to skip, for the simple fact that it can be exceedingly frustrating. It can be really grindy, but it is a little bit nicer than, for example, the Dr. Doom one, where in that one you have to take out some of the enhanced villains, and here we don't. So that's nice. But still, it can take a long time. I pretty much always skip the middle bad guys that are in here, which are Dr. Octopus and Wizard. I really don't mess with them anymore unless I'm farming. Simply if I'm going just for Odin marks, then I just say whatever and I don't bother. It's just way easier that way. In addition, I am using Scarlet Witch for this in part because she does have the teleport power, so it can get around much, much faster. Makes it so much easier. For this one, it's not really too difficult. The AIM engineers are these guys that have the full hats, and they look like they're essentially wearing overalls. They don't have any visible weapons, but when they start attacking you, they basically hit you with wrenches. That's how you can tell who they are. The turrets are fairly obvious. They're the little things that look like guns. So, easy enough, right? And, not really a whole lot else. One of the other major things with this particular terminal is it is one of the ones that is randomly generated. And in particular, just going straight towards the little MODOK portrait generally doesn't do you any good whatsoever. It can be very, very misleading, and the idea is that you always have to approach the head from the southwest. And I'll show you that once I get to the end here. But it'll still be a little while. Let's see, I need to find turrets. So still needing quite a few. Obviously, Scarlet Witch is one of my relatively lower level people, so she's not very well geared. Obviously geared well enough, but not excellent by any means. And I still have Dr. Octopus chasing me around, so that's very unpleasant. And certainly doesn't help very much. Let's see, so we have this way it looks like. Essentially, one of the other tips for this is if you find the two villains, if you find, that is to say, Dr. Octopus and Wizard, it means that you're going in the right direction. So I just ran into Wizard here, which means that we're going right. Correctly, that is, not the literal direction. Although it does happen that we're going up to the right here. Let's see here. Gotta love a turret that's capable of teleporting. Just seems ironic and strange and nonsensical. Part of the problem with this is you do end up running into a lot of dead ends, or potentially running into a lot of dead ends, so it can really make everything much more difficult. In addition, there are virtually always multiple paths to the same thing, which does go a little bit to the dead end problem that you can have. But eventually you'll be able to make it. There is also a fairly clear way to tell when you're near the end, and the scenery below you changes fairly drastically. We should be able to see it pretty soon. Here we go. So you're always going to see this looking thing where you're going across the platforms that are over the sort of gap. And what it basically indicates is this is the home stretch, and that's why you always approach MODOK from the lower left or the southwest, because always, always, always you're going to go over those platforms, and it's always going to be the same. At least as of right now, it is. When you get into MODOK's little room here, there's always a fairly large group of bad guys waiting to take you down in the most efficient way possible. And especially if you're not ready for it, they can fairly easily take you down. And it can be very, very unpleasant. Although, like many of these terminals, if you do get killed by the boss, whoever it is, in whatever circumstances, then more often than not, you're going to end up in an area that's right by where the bad guy is. So there, see, I just died. And we end up right over here. So, not really a huge deal. A little bit frustrating, yes, but certainly could be worse. Hopefully Falcon will be able to help me out. Let's see here. Hopefully we can take him down relatively quickly. Come on, get him, get him, get him. Alright, well, Falcon's not doing me any good either, so that's not very fun. But MODOK will teleport between 3 platforms in this room. There's this one, and there, see, he just teleported. This is one of the other platforms, and the other one is straight across up here in the upper left. You can't really see it very well, but it's up there. And that's the 3rd platform. So whenever you see him teleport, he went to one of those spots. You can see him on the map, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's more of a minor frustration than anything else, at least in my opinion. I personally really don't mind it that much. Now hopefully we can take him down quickly here before I die again. No, 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 no. Ah, we're okay. Really? And he moved again. Like so many bosses, especially ones that teleport, if you can... seriously, I died again. If you can hit MODOK quickly and hit him very hard, then you'll be able to get out much faster. Although, obviously that's the case with any boss or any enemy in that case. Seriously, I die right as I kill him. Because that makes sense. Oh, sometimes I'm serious. Well, thankfully the experience is still here, and I got my 3 Odin marks. Right? So, like I said, this is one that I tend to skip. It takes way too long for me. I have a lot of trouble, even on relatively well-geared people. So I, more often than not, tend to stick to other quests, be it terminal or otherwise. So with that, I will go ahead and move on to the next one. Next on the list for our terminal quests is Heart of the Hydra, where we go after Mandarin, guards, and turrets. And in this case, this is one of the quests where we get 2 Odin marks, which is very, very exciting. So looking forward to that. And let's just hop right in. So once again, I'm just doing all green for the sake of ease on this, just to keep it relatively simple at least.
Quit your meditating and let's go bust some heads.
So we'll go ahead and get started. This is a fairly simple quest. We've got guards here that are labeled as Hydra guards, so they're easy enough to spot. And then the turrets are pretty much the same. We've seen the Hydra turrets plenty of times. I'm sure you all know what the Hydra turrets look like. And in this case, we only need 5 of the turrets. We need a decent number of the guards. We need 50, so that can be tough. Ooh, hopefully you'll get groups like this, which is definitely helpful. And this is the turrets. They've got 2 guns that rotate around. And let's see here. Just go ahead and take everybody down. Oop, missed the turret. But yeah, fairly simple, pretty quick like most terminals. Although the terminal itself is a little bit longer than other terminals. This is one where we have to go. Not only do we have to go through 2 areas, but both of the the first area is actually substantially larger than most typically are. So, wander through here. Dead end. Unfortunately, the Hydra terminal is one of the ones that is randomly generated, so it's completely random, obviously, as far as where you're going to have to go. Best way is you've got the little tracker on your map as well as on screen with the Mandarin's picture, and that'll help you out at least a little bit. You can also open up the full screen to try to see where it is. The problem is the Mandarin's location is the actual location of Mandarin and not the door that leads to where he is. So you saw there I had to backtrack almost all the way back to the end, and it still didn't really help me, unfortunately. So I guess I gotta go back forward. And this is one of the few terminal missions that I tend to skip. Simply because it can be very frustrating trying to figure out exactly where to go, especially without a teleport. If you've got a teleport available, it's obviously a lot better to do. It's a lot easier, but yeah, it can be rough, without a doubt. Really, I missed it. Yeah, looks like I'm just an idiot. That was always a possibility. Oh, see, duh. That's one thing I forgot to mention here. I'll actually go back so I can demonstrate it again. At one point during this terminal, you switch locations, just like in the story mode, where you have to go through a portal for it. In this case, you don't go through a portal. I didn't do it. Let me try to go back farther and see. Essentially what happens is you get a little notification on the screen that says you've entered the inner base. If you get something on the screen in the upper corner here that says inner base, that means that you're on the right track and you don't need to go back. Oh, okay. And it still didn't show it, so oh well. But that's what you're looking for, and once you have that, don't backtrack. At least don't backtrack beyond that particular point. So now I've got the map full screened here, and we can see Mandarin right over here. So essentially I need to go northwest. And just like with several other terminals, once you do this a fair amount, obviously I did not do a great example of being able to do this quickly. You'll be able to run through this relatively fast based on where the Mandarin is, being able to see his little face. So once you see these 2 torches, that means that you're at the right spot and you're ready for this portal.
Heads up. Here
If you
comes
can
the Harlem
teleport, you
Express.
can actually skip past this and go straight onto the stairs over there. But we can't teleport, so we're just going to head around. Oh, something shiny. Where's the shiny? Oh, Eternity Splinter down at the bottom. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Alright. Almost to Mandarin. Unfortunately, don't have any abilities that let me heal Spirit, because that would be very, very helpful.
Quit your meditating and let's go bust some heads.
There we go. Go Luke Cage! Awesome. So you saw there was a pile with 2 Odin marks, because we get 2 Odin marks just for the mission itself. And with that, that's it for the terminal mission. Like I said, relatively simple, fairly easy, and we'll move on to the next one. So we're ready for a rather dreaded terminal this time. And this particular one being the infamous Doctor Doom based one. Although it certainly gives you the Odin marks to try to make up for it, you get 4 Odin marks just for this one. This is a very difficult terminal. It takes a long time, and personally, if I'm trying to level quickly rather, I don't do this one. I don't like it. It's really not fun for me personally, and I just tend not to do it. If I do end up doing it for whatever reason, then it's I'll skip over the enhanced villains just to not have to worry about it, and I'll also just skip past everything as quickly as possible, basically. So we need the servo guards, which are these guys, the cyborgs here, and we also need we also need elite Doombots. So in this case, the elite guards do not count. They have to be the full robots, while the guards are technically cyborgs, canonically. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Generally, here, we'll just bust through this. In general, I will wait at the Doombot factory to have enough of the blue elites to be able to fulfill the requirement, because more often than not, just going through and doing it that way, I never really get enough. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So there we go. There's 2 right here, so that's at least a start for me. You need a total of 20, which isn't too bad, but again, it is a very long terminal. You have to deal with Dr. Doom at the end. So maybe not entirely worth it. I'll just go forward into the what do you call it? Now I can't remember. The Doombot factory, just so that you know the location for it. I'm going to skip past both of the enhanced villains that I'm going to pass by. Just to keep it quick, like I said, I don't want to have to deal with it personally. But here we've got a couple of baddies. Oof, this is rough at level 20. Yeah, definitely not the best legendary quest to try to work on, especially if you're a lower level and not very well geared. Try to make it through though. And now Electro's gonna follow me. That's definitely not gonna help. But we'll see. Oh no, don't die! No! Phew! That was close. Yeah, whenever you get to the point where you're simply trying not to die, it's probably not the best type of thing to do. And Falcon's being pretty worthless, unfortunately. What's the point of having a team up if they don't do anything? Woof. like I said, just in general, this terminal is overall very rough, very difficult to do, and that's without being well geared, which obviously I am not at present time. So I pretty much never do this quest. I'll go ahead and just skip as quickly as I can to the factory. Oh great, Sabretooth. That's gonna be fun. Hopefully he won't follow me. We'll see though. And hopefully I got lucky. This particular terminal, the first part of it is always the same. After you get into this building, there is a minor portion that can change depending. We'll see which one we got. We got the bad one. So sometimes there's a set of stairs here that goes down to the robot factory directly, so you don't have to go all the way around, but it looks like I have to go all the way around. And like I said, I'm just gonna head into the factory and then just leave, because this definitely is not working for me. I certainly wouldn't be able to take out Dr. Doom. Alright, so here we are at the robot factory. One nice thing is, if you die after entering the robot factory, you just go back to the entrance to the factory. You don't go all the way back to the very beginning. So, here we are. This is the part where the elites constantly spawn. Once you take out one of them, then a new bad guy will appear from these. So you just saw the guy teleport in there. And they just keep coming until you shut off this control panel here, which is part of the story, but not part of the terminal, obviously. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just take out all the bad guys. Go get them. You get your 4 Odin marks, which is obviously not bad, but I personally am not going to be sticking around to do it. So, with that, I will go ahead and move on to the next one. So we've got another terminal mission now, and this one being the Winter's Over, or the Odin's Palace terminal, the very last one on the list. And for this one, it can be really tough. There's a lot of mobs, especially at the very beginning, that can take you out pretty quickly. So we're going to be a little bit careful here. And it is important to note, one thing I forgot to mention in the first one, is that for all of these, for the demonstrations, I'm playing in the green terminals, not the red ones. Because, like I said earlier, I'm more about just completing the quests, not necessarily doing everything as quickly as, or not as quickly, but not necessarily getting as much gear as I can. So you can see there is quite a lot of mobs just right here in the little entryway, and they can very easily take you out. It's really nice to have that AoE clearing, whatever it happens to be, on whatever character you're playing. And for this, we've got 2 objectives in addition to taking out Curse. Our 2 objectives are to take out the Dark Elf lieutenants and to rescue injured civilians. So the injured civilians are the little yellow marks that are on the map, and you can see them in the corner there. They've got the question marks above their head just like this. You talk to them, and then they toss out a bunch of experience, and that's how you save them. Doesn't matter that there's a whole bunch of Dark Elves around still. You technically save them, so you're good to go. Alright, now the Dark Elf lieutenants can spawn in 3 of 4 locations. This is one of the locations at the bottom of the stairs here, and I'll show you the other 3, even if I don't get, or even if I do get the other 2 people before that. So that's one location. The other location is straight across on the other side of the palace here. And let's see, so we got the one of the other ones. And basically the 4 locations are the top left, top right, bottom right. So pretty easy to remember and very easy to do. Okay, and let's see, there's another civilian right here. You need a total of 5 civilians, and they're ridiculously easy to get. You barely even have to try to actually get them. Alright, so I got the third of the 3 lieutenants, but like I said, I'll still go ahead and show you the other spawn point, which, like I said, is essentially just right across the way from here. Right across the map on the other side. So if we go up here, I still need another civilian too, so we'll rescue him. So now I can technically go and fight Curse. But the other spawn point is this little area right here. And the bad guy will jump down and try to take you down. Okay, let me get Falcon back. And we'll head up to Curse here. So Curse, just like in the regular storyline, he will summon bad guys, try to take you down. And this is a rather dangerous terminal. Curse is really, really strong, and he can take you out very, very quickly if you're not careful. So you can potentially have a lot of issues. This is part of why I play on the green terminals, at least when I'm leveling, because I know that my gear is not really up to snuff for a lot of the really tougher bad guys. Whew, that was a hard hit. But like I said, Curse can be really difficult. Try to take him out. But essentially that's the entire terminal. This is another one where the map is always the same, so you don't have to worry about randomly generated stuff. Always the same. It's always just the Odin's Palace. So we all know what Odin's Palace looks like. Ouch. Jeez, I'm crow. We all know what the Odin's Palace is, so we know where we can go. I just showed you all the spawn points. The Dark Elf Lieutenants can spawn at any of 3 of the 4 locations that I just showed you. So if you don't find all 3, then just go and check the last ones. You know where the spawn points are, so eventually you'll be able to find them fairly easily. And on that note, this is a legendary that I personally tend to skip, simply because Curse takes a ridiculously long time to kill. You can see that he's killed, or nearly killed me, way too many times for my taste. Almost got him. Yay! Alright. Okay, and like all of the terminal missions, this is a 1 Odin mark. And incidentally, the Curse Medallion is really good for melee people. So with that, I'll go ahead and move on to the next. But it's actually one of the most efficient ones that you can do. So just so you know, the bad guys, these are the Magia. They look like Magia. They look like standard bad guys. And the conference tables all look the same. They all look like this. Just gotta slash it a couple times and it's done. You only need 5 of the conference tables, and there are plenty to go around. No worries. Same thing with the Magia. There's more than enough to take out throughout the levels. Now, one very, very nice thing about this particular mission is that it is always the same. It's one of those terminals. The map, geographically, I guess you could say, is always the same, no matter what. Right? It doesn't matter the difficulty, it doesn't matter the level that you are, always identical. The tables are always in the same place. I mean, the Magia locations don't really matter because they're just the bad guys. And incidentally, once you get to Kingpin, then there's also Magia that come during that fight. So there, see, I just finished with the conference tables, and I'm only on the 2nd floor. So very, very efficient, very nice there. Like I said, not a bad final terminal mission. Or at least what is currently the final mission. Probably going to be new terminals soon enough. So no worries. And we get to play as Deadpool. Because Deadpool is awesome. Right, go ahead and pop on in here. So like I said, it's always the same. Always the same number of floors. Always the same people. But the actual Kingpin fight can be a little bit tricky. If you either don't know what to expect, or you just generally have, you can have just general trouble with it, and I'll explain more once I get up there. What is that? Ah. Alright. Don't need too many more Magi, I can just clear them out here pretty quick, and I should get my 75. There we go. Done and done. Let's roll, so to speak. Also literally. Kingpin's office. Alright, here we are. So Kingpin always starts back behind his desk there. Now here's the thing. Once he gets past a certain level of health, I believe if it's if he loses approximately a third or a fourth of his health, then he will summon Elektra. There you go, just did. And this is where it can get a little bit hairy, because both Elektra and Kingpin start to attack you, and then once he's down even further, when he only has about half of his health left, he summons Bullseye like he just did, which can be very, very unpleasant. For those of you who don't know, when it comes to Bullseye, jeez, took me out. Hate it. Hate it so much. When it comes to Bullseye, if you get the little target on you that says take cover, all you have to do is break his line of sight, and then it goes away. So it's not too bad, but it is very frustrating still. And they do a ridiculous amount of damage together. So it does make it easier if you move. Obviously, I got a pretty bad roll with the missile reflection, so ranged attacks are pretty much out of the picture here, out of the question for me to use, which makes it very, very frustrating. But this time around, I should be able to take him out pretty quickly. And incidentally, if you just take out Kingpin, then everybody else goes with him. So at least that won't be much of a problem. Right, so go ahead and grab your cube shard. If you want, grab the medallion. I personally I'll go ahead and get it too.
I'll take this.
Oh, Deadpool, you're so snarky. So to celebrate the fact that this is the final of the terminal missions, I believe I've got enough cube shards to go and grab myself a fortune card. So let's go see what we can get. Hopefully it's a good one. Hello, Clea. Give me a fortune card. Rarity boost. I'll take it. Certainly not bad. So with that, thank you very much for watching this. I hope that you enjoyed my little guide for all of the current terminals. And I keep a watch for the other two major legendary quest guides that I'm making. I'm making one full for the story quests and one also for the Midtown Manhattan based quests. So please watch those as well. And again, I hope that you enjoyed this one and that it helped you out. And I will see you next time.
We're gonna play the game, the PlayStation all day with Metal Gear Solid to Tekken 3 and from Omega Boost to Resident Evil. Just play for the fun, cause we got it going on.